Hi guys, hope you're doing well. Hope your year has been good. Hope your month is just on top. Okay, so today I want to welcome you to another episode of this informative, insightful, and another gender-related podcast. So here at Shaping Gender Narratives, we get to answer all of your questions in regards to gender, gender roles, gender issues, and basically any trends on gender. And because you don't know me, I am your host, Amondi. I love poetry. I do poetry, I do community theater and film. I use my art to advocate for issues affecting my community. Yeah. On our last episode, we were talking about what GBV is and some of its forms. If you think I'm speaking in Greek, you can always go right back there and watch that episode. I'm sure it will answer all of your questions you have in regards to GBV and its forms. And today, I'm not alone. I have guests, so I'd like to introduce. No, I think I'll let my guests introduce themselves. So, welcome, guys. How are you feeling?
I'm good.
You're good?
Yeah.
Excited.
Yeah.
Very excited.
Okay, so because Felix, I'm sorry, women first.
It's
So
fine.
we'll start with you, Jolie.
Okay. So my name is Bridgit Oyaro. I consult with Zumari Africa, where we work with creatives. I also have a background in gender, and mainly we work around advocacy, awareness creation around mental health issues, around gender-related issue, and also around human rights. We are based in Huruma, St. Daniel Komboni Catholic Church.
Nice.
Yeah, and I'm excited to be here.
I'm excited. I'm actually excited to have you. I mean, so Ruma Bana, like, I want to know what all of you are doing outside there. So Felix, it's your time.
Okay, my name is Felix Mwitah. I'm a DJ, producer, lawyer. I work with Sanctuary East Africa, which is a music innovation hub based in Westlands, right around the corner. And what we do is we are focused in building or cultivating a music industry that's diverse, equitable, and authentic to the East African music scene. So that's what we focus in, and themes around gender show up in our activities. In terms of representation, there's a lot more, it's a very male-dominated field. So those are some of the issues we try to counter or level for a more fair and equitable ecosystem.
Nice. So, like, what is one of the best works you've done so far? Because you said you're with the music industry. What is your best work?
If I was to say our best work, I'd say mostly impactful. We run a music academy, a music production academy. It's called SEMA, the Sanctuary Electronic Music Academy. And what we've been able to do is train a higher percentage of females in our cohorts. We try to strike that gender balance where if it's not 50-50, it's actually more skewed towards the non-males. So that's something we've been able to do. We've done it for the past, I think, 2 years now. We've trained over 100 students right now. We actually, they graduated last week. We had our showcase last Friday where it's them showcasing their music, things they've been able to make over the course of the 6-week course. So I'd say that's like the most impactful thing we've done.
Yeah, that is actually it. Yeah, congratulations.
Yes, thank you.
And to our audience, so that I don't want you to miss anything, so that you don't miss what we're going to discuss today. And the topic of today is response to GBV. What are the necessary steps you're supposed to take once a GBV event has occurred? What is the help that is actually there for you, and how can you access this help? Okay, so before we're doing all that, I'll just key you in on a brief on GBV and some of its form. So Felix, while you're growing up, did you ever think we were living in a gender-related world? And if you did, what are some of the most disturbing cases you've come across?
I think growing up, in retrospect, like these themes were apparent, but you really didn't have the language, the language to make them tangible or to rationalize them. You just thought it was normal. This is how it is, and that's like a keyword, normalization. It's from childhood up until right now. You just grow up, and GBV is so normalized and entrenched in our society. So I'd say one of the most like I'd say, is it traumatic or just something that I can vividly remember is, I think it was one of my neighbors. They had, it was routine quarrels, like, they're quarreling again. It's another Saturday, the mzee has come home drunk, and you know the script. So for me, it escalated to you'd hear glasses breaking. It was quiet, and this is how like GBV progresses. You think it's just going to be a back and forth, but it escalates to physical altercation. So that happens, and the police got involved. We saw a Land Cruiser roll up and actually pick the man from the house. And for me, witnessing it as a kid was I was like, wow, like this was such a huge thing. I knew police were like for murderers. So seeing that unfolded, I couldn't fathom it. It's because I'm a pigaui. I was like, no, it's people fight all the time. But the gravity of that is apparent when just through my journey and through my learnings in law and through the gender diversity training that we had not too long ago with CEC. So that's where I was like, this actually was something serious. And it in retrospect, like now I'm like, wow, it happened. Yeah.
And I think that is usually the worst part is that it is normal for like my neighbors to fight, you know. When they don't fight, man, those people kuna kitu cha kulenya wanakulanga kila siku. And I think that is wrong. We grow up with the knowledge that we can fight. Na iendelee kiendelee. So, Jolie, I realize you're a creative in the creative space, representing the woman. So, do you have like a personal experience like with the creative industries? Because in the creative industry, as women, we have been crying for a really long time on harassment. Like, do you have a personal experience? And if you do, how do you think it is some of the consequences it has on the creative?
I wouldn't say I have like a personal experience, but I know of creatives who have undergone some of the forms of GBV, for example, sexual violence. I know of someone who really wanted a role in the space, in the acting space.
Why does it always have to be the role? Like you want a role?
Because of course there are roles in the
roles,
so definitely you have to get that role. So they wanted like a role in the acting space. Then sadly, alikuwa manipulated. Like you have to sleep with the boss so that
you get that
role.
That is
so unfortunately she refused, and the boss went to an extra mile to actually harassing her and actually raping her. And now that means, of course, she was raped. That means her dignity has kind of been reduced. And of course, it means her isolating herself, because those are some of the effects that come with it. Now she didn't want that role anymore because she was like, oh, maybe other people know about her experience. Maybe other people will start talking. So in a way, she just let that role flow. So in a way, I feel one of the consequences, of course, they will be that she was sexually raped. So that means
her physical
is kind of messed up with. Again, her psychological, and again, just being out there, a career, choosing to siendelee in a career anymore. So
that is so sad, and that is what usually happens. You know, for the woman you harass sexually, and you don't have anyone to talk to, and even if you talk, it will, like in the workspace, itakuwa tena gossiping. So Felix, you're the law. I mean, you're the boss here. So as a woman who has undergone such an event, like, what does the law say about this? Are there specific policies, are there specific laws that can really help a victim in this kind of situation?
I think I'll start with the Constitution. Like, the Constitution is the all-encompassing law. Article 29 states that it guarantees your freedom of liberty and security. So this includes any form of violence, and that situation is a form of violence, gender-related, I might put it that way as well. So that's like the big one, so to speak. There's also the Sexual Offences Act, and that speaks to that as well, in terms of it provides for, it identifies and gives language to those offenses, and they can be identified and tracked down to, let's say it was sexual harassment, it was verbal harassment. So the Sexual Offences Act speaks on this, and it's a recourse you can go to if you want to identify and actually say, oh, yeah, this is what he did. So that's your recourse. There's also the Employment Act. The Employment Act speaks on you can't be discriminated just based on your gender, on your sex in the workplace. You can't get less pay just because you're
a female.
Yeah, exactly. Which, especially in the in our industry, it happens quite a lot.
Yeah, the creative space.
It happens quite a lot. So those are some of the statutes that are in place to protect against that. Also for the men, there's the Penal Code, which speaks to, we say that men can't be raped. It's a fact. So what happens? What happens is there's the Penal Code, which speaks on assault. So
sexual assault.
If a man feels like they've been violated
sexually.
Exactly. So that's they can't rely on the rape terminology. They can use the assault terminology and the Penal Code as it's in this respect.
True, thank you. So for a creative out there enjoying with the workspace, please know the Employment Act, know the Penal Code, know the Constitution. I think all of these policies and all of these laws will protect you from harassment at the workplace. And I think why most of GBV cases, especially on sexual harassment, taking place in the workplace, usually goes unnoticed, people don't report it. It's because they don't know there are actually laws put in place to just protect you. So please know your policies, know the Employment Act, know the Constitution. Now, this brings us to...
before maybe we move on, in addition also in the workplace, I think it's important if you get into the workspaces, know about the policies that exist in your workplace.
In the specific workplace?
Yes, in the specific workplace. Because I know there are policies around sexual offenses. There are policies around the kind of relationships you should have at the workplace. Also, how you can, maybe your contract can be terminated. Because, for example, mdosi anaweza amua kuja anikatie na nikatae na anifute kazi, but you'll get, if you know the right procedures, you know your contract, and you know the policy within the workplace, you can actually sue them. So it's important also, me as Jolie, a creative, I'm in that industry, it's important for me to be aware of such kind of things existing in my workplace.
True. So as creatives, let us understand these policies. They will come a long way, especially in cases of harassment. Now, that was the workspace. Let's get to our grassroots areas, our communities, So we have this scenario like you're in the public space and a woman, a man, they're married, and the guy suddenly beats the woman. As a community, the community will, mob justice, it happen like tutamfanyia tu team bonding. So the guy atapigwa vibaya sana, but most times when you see this, like the woman usually retracts and relaxes, and maybe at the end of the day, anahurumia, she feels remorse towards the guy. Do you think this is how, maybe in the industry or as creative, do you think this is how we should be responding to these cases?
No, first, like the mob action, immediate justice doesn't work. That's why there are laws in place to handle these cases, and there are procedures put in place to deal with that. What I would think is the reasonable course of action would be these community members, instead of beating up this man, it would be maybe to escort him to a police station and take up the role of witnesses. They witness the man, the violence, and that's one of the things that these cases fall short of, is that there are no witnesses, there's no evidence to start with. So getting legal recourse becomes that much difficult. You were beaten, but I don't see any scars on you. Who saw? Especially if there's a period of time that has passed between that happening and you reporting. So I feel like that's one of the areas that we can improve on. Instead of wanting to beat someone, try to figure out, how can we collect this evidence that this has occurred?
Yeah, true. But that is usually hard, when
Yeah.
something happens.
Yeah.
Adrenaline is pumping.
The knee-jerk
Like
reaction.
it just happens. But
Yeah.
the right course of action is always report. But that is in a public space, right? Jolie, like as a creative and someone assaults you, but let's say it's a sexual assault, there are no witnesses around. What do you think are some of the steps you can take
Okay.
to get maybe justice or to get help?
Okay, in the event there are no witnesses, definitely I, as Jolie, if I get raped right now,
Yeah.
I'll be able, first, if I have a facility,
Yes.
either a police station or a health facility, whichever is first. For example, there's a health facility that
Is near you.
is near
Yes.
where I work. I'll definitely go there so that they can be able to give me the post-rape care form. The post-rape care form ensures that I go through the
Physical
examination and even the to just physically know what kind of injuries I have, and also to either trace on whether there are any spams
Yeah.
in the event I was raped.
Yes.
Of course, in this situation, we say I have been raped.
you are raped.
And then also, they're able to ensure that I go through an HIV testing.
Yeah, HIV test.
Yes, and also be given
Pep?
a contraceptive as well,
Okay.
because you might have gotten pregnant in the instant, conception might have taken place. So it's important to also be put on PEP and also contraception as well. So from there, now I'm able to now go to the police station where I take the form so that they can actually tell I went through a facility and they have assured that I have gone, I have been raped.
Yes.
So from there, now the police are able to follow up, either with the perpetrator and also with the law enforcers as well. Yeah, it could be if I have a lawyer and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, so that brings me to something important. There are these cases of defilement. She's a kid and she's afraid of speaking up. But let's say she grows up in like 2 to 5 years and she realizes this was actually wrong and I'd like to come out. Do you think that case can still go to extent of maybe imprisonment to the perpetrator or?
It's quite difficult just based on the length of time between that
event.
occurring, and also this
the
was
time to report.
because it's so centered on evidence, because this person is facing, it's a very serious accusation. So just based off that, if there's no evidence, the burden of proof lies with the accuser. So and it's a heavy or like it has to be really convincing that this occurred. So without evidence, I don't want to say it can, but I'd say it's very difficult for it.
To find justice.
Yeah.
So this actually means as a victim of GBV or sexual assault, in this case it's sexual assault, but every case of GBV, I think the best places to go are usually the medical center.
Yeah.
At the medical center, you'll find the physical examination. It will serve as the evidence.
Yeah.
After the medical center, you can go to report to the police station.
Yes.
After the police station, you can have legal aid. For example, Felix. They can call you
Yeah.
and represent us in court.
With the hair.
Yeah. So in all this, these are the major referral pathways to GBV. A referral pathway is the services that you are entitled to after a GBV event has occurred.
Yes.
So you need to get your medical reports. You need to go to the hospital, get be examined, and if you have any other problem, let's say HIV, you can know. You can you get to know and understand your status. But I believe the healthcare facility is a really, really important phase.
Yes.
What do
it
you
is.
think, apart from physical examination and let's say, physical examination, what do you think happens also at the medical centers?
For, let me say, an instance of rape again, it's important for like the medical specialists, and nowadays it's important, especially even for those taking tests,
Yes.
to just go maybe through some training so that they can be able to receive this person well because you might go to the hospital and actually not get received well.
Yeah,
Mpaka ikufanye utake
especially-
kurudi. So it's important for them to be very, let me say, empathetic with you
Yeah.
again, so that they can be able to know exactly
What
happened to you. So they can help also in just doing a social screening.
Yes.
It will be, how are you feeling? Maybe, are you ready to talk about it? Because sometimes you're traumatized. You're not able to talk about it at that particular time. So it's important for them to also understand this person or this case. Like, are you ready to talk about it? So once you're ready, of course, to talk about it, they can now be able to either refer you to now a counseling center that offers psychosocial support. And again, for them to also refer you, they also have to get like consent from you, because you cannot just refer me somewhere and I am not willing to share my story. So it's also important for me as a victim to also understand why I need to go through the process and also why I need to actually talk about it.
Yeah, true. And I also believe the psychosocial is really important.
Yes.
Because if you choose to go ahead with the case,
Yes.
you will need to stand at the court and
Talk.
repeat
Yes.
the incident.
Every
So
other
I really
time.
think psychosocial is important to the victim. Something else, Felix. Why? No, I was reading something on GBV, and I was so shocked that psychosocial screening is done to both the perpetrator and the victim. What do you think it's done to the perpetrator? I mean, this guy is the suspect.
Yeah.
I mean, why?
It's usually rooted in trying to identify the mental state, or if the person was in a right state of mind while they are perpetrating this act. It's more of a mental examination than a psychosocial exam. It's just to figure out or identify if this person was in the correct
Right
state of
state of
mind.
mind.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Wasn't
okay.
he's not insane or wasn't under the influence of substances, which is also not a defense. If you
Yeah,
did it,
yeah,
true,
it doesn't help you in any way. So it's just to identify the mental state of this person, so it can be also brought forth in court that he was coherent and he knew what he was doing as well. Yeah.
Okay. So at the police station, what usually takes place there? Cause a lot of GBV cases, and it doesn't matter if you're with the creative industry or you're with the community or another place. GBV cases can usually last long.
Yeah.
And you're just in the first phase. You're just recording a statement. The suspect maybe is not even detained. You know, why do you think the police station might take too long, and what are the processes after I've gone to report that there was a GBV incident?
I think it takes long because there's that stage of evidence gathering to ascertain that this has occurred. So that's what usually drags out. And the officer assigned the case usually has also other cases to attend to. And all these factors, especially with our system, the police system, they are overworked. So you might find it tend to, it elongates because, they have this case, there's this other case, and they're trying to gather evidence for all these cases. Because I'd pin it on just the system. We need more police officers, and we also need better training around it on how to gather evidence with related to gender issues as well. So what usually happens is just evidence collecting. They're trying to gather all this evidence to pin it on the perpetrator if they are identified. Way harder if you can't identify the person, and they're doing forensics and trying to match DNA and all these things. So that's what I'd pin it on. Evidence, because you have to get the evidence right to be able to have a case to stand.
And also, most of the times, the process also kind of takes long, because we have had cases where you find someone has amesema amerepiwa with a particular person, and when you do a background check, you realize this person was lying. So nowadays, especially these GBV cases, they have taken another turn to actually also do a background check on this specific. As much as we always want the victim to get sorted like immediately, they also do a background check, because we have had, there was a time on Citizen, there was a case of a dad who was accused of defiling a child. Akakaa jela for around, until Lulu Hassan actually aired that story.
Yeah.
And you realize the mom had told the girl to lie.
about
Babake amemdefile. So that's why nowadays sometimes those nini cases take
May
long.
take long.
But now when it comes to children, they're handled haraka.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So that is basically it. So for the referral pathways, so if a GBV incident has occurred, run to the nearest referral center that is near you. For example, if it is the police station, you go there first. But if it is the medical center, report to that first. So after that, we were talking about the steps.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
number one, the most important thing here, there is no case if there is no evidence.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay? Make sure you preserve your evidence well. Talking about evidences. How do you even preserve an evidence? How do you even know this is an evidence? And maybe you've been defiled or raped.
In case of defilement and rape, what you're advised to do is, first of all, not to take a bath at least for 72 hours.
72 hours.
Yeah, 24.
No bathing.
Yeah. So you're advised to abstain from taking a shower. Also, if you're wearing any clothes that you had on during the incident, it's to put them in a brown paper bag. Brown paper bag, or I've had also newspaper works, but recommended is a brown paper bag, but not nylon, because it may tamper with the evidence, or actually may contaminate the evidence. So brown paper bag, preserve the evidence. If it's a case of the technological age, if you've been beaten, you can take a photo of the scar.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah.
Okay, if I've been beaten and I have bruises, like
Yeah.
I'm even afraid of
Yeah.
like maybe looking at my face in the mirror. Like, can you have someone to like take your photo?
Yeah, for sure.
yeah.
That's also advised. Like, that's a witness. They saw you with the scars.
The
Yeah, if they ever do
scars.
heal.
So also have a witness.
Yeah.
Okay.
If you can, make sure. Did you hear the commotion? Try
Yeah,
and do these things. The neighbor, approach someone and just tell them that, this happened. They can be a witness in court. So preservation of evidence and gathering this evidence is an important step. So that's the first thing you should do.
Yeah, thank you. So preserve your evidence. If you don't have a brown paper bag, to grow up na magazeti, you can also wrap the clothes you're wearing in a gazette. Take those photos. Just preserve that evidence. After that, go to the medical center or report to the police station. After that, you're ready to go to court, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, get your legal aid. You can call Felix. Yeah.
And also, legal aid doesn't necessarily mean a lawyer.
Yeah.
We have organizations that actually now take up the case, and then they
case.
can now refer you to a
other
lawyer.
people. Yeah, true. Yeah, so mostly when it comes to legal aid, a lot of people don't know where to get this help or the organizations to approach when it comes to legal aid. But I think right now in every constituencies, we have social justice centers, right? Yeah, so you can report to the social justice centers. They usually have a whole team zimetengwa juu ya legal aid, right? Yeah, so Jolie, you're a creative, and we're here because of the creative industry. What do you think? Do you think you have a role to play in terms of responding to GBV?
Yes, I have a role. Number one is calling out the perpetrator.
Okay.
Because especially for males, let me say, it's difficult difficult. Inakuanga ngumu sana wanaume kukoliana out. Very difficult.
Felix, why is that?
I don't understand.
Yeah.
So it's important to actually call out.
Yeah, it is.
Umechapana, call out that person. Mwambie, you have beaten maybe your wife, you have beaten your girlfriend, you have maybe harassed your colleague, and you must face the consequences. Yeah, so the first thing is calling out. And if possible, the second one is reporting this person. Yeah.
But most of the times you're afraid of reporting because you'd go to the police station and you're like, police atakuuliza, so endo umejua uko na kiherehere kwa mtaa yote, like you're coming here reporting these cases. So I also believe at the police station, our police should be empathetic. Like when someone comes with a serious case, they should listen instead of like giving kuongea tu for the sake of kuongea. Because that is why most times when, let's say, physical violence happens to husbands, it is hard for them to report to the police station. So I really believe the police should also be empathetic when it comes to these cases?
Right now, last I heard there were gender officers at every police station, or at least there should be gender.
Gender desks.
Yeah, gender desk. A gender desk where, in such an eventuality, you can go to the officer who's manning that desk.
Yeah. Sure.
Plus, I think even in the police, there's something that was rolled out in 2021 that should go across all counties. Policy something, polycare. Yeah, where now police officers will be trained on how to handle GBV cases because you'll find most people are not trained. They don't even know some of these things happening. For them, maybe, let me say Felix amekuja amesema nimechapwa. He starts asking, umechapwa kwa nini? What did you, umechapwa na nani? You're a man. So it's important for also police men and women to understand that these cases actually take place and they happen to both men and women. So there's that, the program that was rolled out and it's supposed to go to all counties. So we are hoping it will be implemented because it's very key for police officers to go through such trainings.
Sure. I think that way it is easy for both females and male to report GBV cases. And then something else, we are in the era of women empowerment and girl empowerment, which is a nice thing, right?
Yeah.
I am empowered, I'm here because I am empowered. Okay, so Felix, how do you think empowering maybe men or male creatives, how is it going to make your work easier to maybe reduce GBV cases?
I think it would make it easier in terms of breaking down those negative masculinity tropes that are prevalent. Once they have this training or at least this dialogue around it, that you should not occupy that dominance role or that, I'm the one to say, which is rooted in like negative masculinity. It's shedding those chairs and being you're supposed to safeguard, you're supposed to protect and not be a perpetrator. And also, if you just occupy that role where you're not actively propagating this system, you're part of the dismantler. You're dismantling actively in that role of I'm not gonna keep quiet when this occurs, when I've seen it, even if it's my friend, like I'm gonna call them out. I'm not gonna associate with them if they do, again, just so they feel that this is something grave that I've done, and also other people are able to see, oh, there's consequences to these actions. So I feel like that's something.
Nice. Jolie, you're a woman creative. Like, do you believe or do you think you have challenged what are some of the harmful norms when it comes to gender roles or gender inequality in your space?
Yes, I think I have. Of course, like nowadays, you will find women taking up big roles in the creative spaces. And it's because we have challenged some of those norms that we believe that a woman cannot maybe lead a particular role either in a music or even an advertisement because maybe they are not well exposed. So I believe nowadays we have women taking up bigger roles. Hata kwa movies nowadays we see there's superwoman and stuff. And even you'll find even women being given these tough roles, the fighter, like the woman king. So in a way we have also challenged such of these norms.
Kwa playgrounds zetu siku hizi unapata like wasichana wako like mimi ni Supergirl. Atika ni Supergirl, mimi wanaume. So at least it is shaping how we look at ourselves, how we view ourselves as young as we are growing up. And because you're almost coming to the end of this awesome talk, I hate to leave you.
Same.
I don't want to leave you. Okay, so I'd love to tackle a big issue when it comes to GBV victims before we go. And how do we support GBV victims as a creative industry, as creatives? How can we be supportive to these people? Maybe you can start with you, Julie.
Of course, number one is not questioning that person because the minute this person comes and opens up and say, Felisters have been raped or Felix, I have been raped, it's important for you to listen to them at that particular time. Like, don't question, ulirepiwa ukiwa, what time were you there? And
Umekuwa police.
Hey.
Umekuwa police. Yes, police.
so it's just important for you to give them that listening
Safe
ear
space,
and
yeah.
giving them that safe space so that even in the event another incident happens, they're able to come to you directly and talk to you. Yeah.
Wow,
Yes.
thank you. Felix, how do you support GBV victims?
Yeah, I was gonna say that point. I think, yeah, because it's such a huge thing to have a forum where you can go to, or a safe space. That's the word, a safe space, because that's what's lacking. If I can't approach an individual or any one of my immediate family members, my immediate friends, I at least have let's say an institution somewhere that I can go to, and it's creatively rooted. I'd say one of them is like Center East Africa. That's like one of the main premises is a safe space. You can come, you can tell us about your experiences, and we'll listen. We're not just, what? No, not in that knee-jerk reaction of, are you sure? It's more, yes.
Or you say, I've been raped, and everyone goes quiet.
Yeah, and then exactly that pressure. So we dismantling that and actually making it comfortable to come forward, because a lot more people come forward if they're comfortable with it and it's not awkward for them and for everyone.
For everyone, sure. Now that you are winding up, we have a bonus for you. We'll stay right to the end of it. So these are our major takeaways. We take out some takeaways. Thank you. Takeaways. So number one, responding to GBV, it starts with you. You have to preserve that evidence. Preserve it and then report to your nearest referral path. And if it is a police station, go report to the police station. If it is a medical health center, report to that medical health center. If you don't know, like a few years back, you don't know what you do, you have a social justice center. Make sure you know where it is and then report to it. Time is of the essence here. Like 72 hours, everything will just go away. You won't have a case, you won't have anything, you won't have any evidence. So time is of the essence. Make sure you report to the police station, to the medical center, ask for help at your social justice center. If you have an organization nearby or you trust someone, please also talk to them. Yeah, so from me to you, it was lovely having this conversation. And as a bonus, and because you're lucky today I'm with you, I'm going to perform a poetry piece for you.
Can't wait.
I'm not hearing those claps. Okay, so here goes. So my piece inaitwa Naogopa. Okay? Please try not to cry. Tissues. Naogopa. Naogopea jamii yangu potovu. Haki sio haki tena. Naogopa. Naogopea jamii yangu ambayo huwaficha wabakaji na kusema kila kitu kiko sawa. Naogopa. Naogopea msichana miaka 9 kubakwa na kutozwa kwa mhalifu yule. Naogopea mila na itikadi zetu ambazo hazimruhusu mtoto msichana kwenda shuleni. Hazimruhusu mtoto wa kike kumiliki mali. Zinamkanyagia na kunyamazisha sauti yake. Naogopa. Naogopea wasichana wadogo ambao watazidi kuzaliwa katika jamii yangu. Naogopa. Thank you.
Amazing.
Okay, so
that was amazing.
Julie, what did you like or didn't like about the poetry?
I loved the whole poetry, and I love that it brought out the way some of these cases are settled. Kangaroo courts.
Yeah, kangaroo courts.
Like you go maybe to, especially when family members are involved. You're told, usienda kusema case, usienda kushtaki baba yako, utaniaibisha, maybe as the woman, ama the mother. So it's important for us as creatives, as a community, to stand up and report these cases because it is a crime. GBV is a crime.
It is a crime.
And you will face the law. Yeah.
And then something else is because people report to the wazee wa nyumba kumi and chiefs because they don't understand GBV cases. They are not aiko kwa chief, locate ya chief ama ya nyumba kumi. You're supposed to report kwa police station. Felix.
Yeah, that was a very beautiful piece. Congratulations. So that was very beautiful. I think, yeah, it encompassed all the forms or the normalization of GBV in that, yeah, it's settled in kuchinja mbuzi, kukata kondoo, and it's over and done with. And in actual that scar on the survivor, the wazee are happy, the family is happy, but the actual survivor is not, because they haven't gotten any justice.
Yeah.
And I feel that's such a huge gap, and that's such a huge burden for that person to bear. Yeah, so I think, yeah, we should do better in terms of following those mechanisms. Yeah.
Yeah, and I hate the fact that some of the survivors of GBV, let's say sexual defilement, they're usually given to that perpetrator for them to marry.
Yeah, in
So
some
like
cultures.
you're defiled, you go into marriage even without knowing anything, and then the cycle continues, and then the day you die.
Yeah.
It is so sad. So, okay, so with that, I'll let my amazing guest to sadly give us a parting shot.
For me, I'd urge all creatives, let's use our platforms to educate on some of the root causes of GBV, some of the forms, and also the consequences that come with it.
Yeah.
And also, it's important for us to also use our platforms to continue sensitizing the community that it is bad and it is a crime to perpetrate GBV on anyone. Yeah, thank you.
For me, I'd say, I'll just sum it up as be a decent human being. You don't have to have a legal regime chasing you. You don't have to have the society shun you for you to act in line. Like, just be a decent human being. That humanity aspect, that's what I encourage you to bring out. You're not born with that urge to perpetrate these acts. It's something that it's learned. It's something that's normalized. So I'd just say, go back to being a decent human.
Okay, that was from us to you. Evidence, police station, medical center, legal aid.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.